Welcome on in. It's another edition of the Clap Your Hands podcast. Jack Fritz, Eliot Shorr-Parks, James Jackson here with you as we are awaiting anything.
Literally anything.
Literally any rumor.
I think within the next 10 days, I think there's going to be a lot of little flurry of stuff going on.
All right, so I have two things I wanted to start with. One's basketball and one is basketball adjacent. Which do you want?
I want your basketball first and then your basketball adjacent second.
Okay. I've said this on the pod a few times, but I think it's starting to come to fruition. If the Lakers hire JJ and it looks like Donovan Mitchell is going to resign with the Cavs, I'm really just getting a feeling everything's slipping away.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel to me like there is a lot of action with the Sixers. Now, you could argue Daryl Morey moving in silence, potentially. But I don't know. Like, the more that comes out and the less there is in terms of Paul George is leaving the Clippers. There's never any of that. Now you hear about the Pacers being involved with Paul George, or maybe he'll try to force his way somewhere. Well, it doesn't feel like things are going the Sixers' way early on.
I think it's under 50% to get Paul George now. I think it's
I would agree with that.
20 and 50% that they get Paul George. Which
I think
not how I felt 2 weeks ago.
Isn't this always how it goes, though? Isn't it always how?
I think
you hear a lot of it up front, then Daryl Morey moves in silence. Nothing happens for a long time.
But when does Daryl Morey actually move in silence? The James Harden thing we heard about.
But then he waited for a long time. It never happens when you
Right.
want it to, when you think it's going to happen. It always happens after the fact.
My worry is we always think the Sixers are going to do a ton, and then it never actually comes to fruition.
Sure.
Part of it's our fault.
While they have the resources this time to do it, and another thing Brian Windhorst said was he expects a lot of action at the NBA draft.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just starting to get worried that these guys that we're talking about don't even want to leave. There was a report from Shams this week that Jimmy Butler only wants to play in Miami.
Super.
Not super encouraging. Paul George is seems so disinterested coming to the Sixers that he might try to force his way to another team that doesn't have cap space. LeBron is going back to the Lakers. After that, there was a report this morning, Mikal Bridges is not being traded no matter what. I think he ultimately will be traded, but probably not before the start of the season.
Right.
Like I said, Donovan Mitchell re-signing with the Cavs. So where is the guy coming from?
So do you want to know my honest answer?
I would hope every answer you give is honest.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think they're going to sit out the offseason, and I think they're going to wait for the Kevin Durant ask out or the Mikal Bridges ask out. Kevin Durant seems more real. Mm-hmm. The Suns thing seems like a disaster. It just seems like it's combustible.
Well, especially if they start and Bradley Beal is good.
I don't think Daryl Morey is just going to make a move to make a move.
Never does.
Out of the pressure of the fan base saying you got to go, I don't feel that.
So what I hear you saying though is Daryl Morey is not going to move just to make a move. But do you think there will be a move to be made?
Let's put it this way. I would rather take the chance on waiting out a Kevin Durant possible during the season trade than just trading for Brandon Ingram.
Oh, see, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I think
I'm in on it.
Brandon Ingram is not good. He is not good.
I don't get why people
say
that.
He's not good.
He was a former top 3 pick. He can obviously shoot. He's long.
He can't obviously shoot.
Yes, he
you
can
keep
obviously
saying that.
Because
he does not shoot threes.
The numbers show it.
He does not shoot
Hold
threes.
on.
What did you do 7 years ago?
No.
In high school and in Duke, he shot threes.
I did not say that he shoots a ton of threes. I said he can shoot. When he has shot a high volume of threes, he makes them. I'll look it up, but I think he's over 36 to 37% for his career.
He shot 2 threes a game last year.
Yeah, he didn't shoot a ton of threes. You know who else doesn't shoot a ton of threes? Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, but he's a winner. And
okay, all right, he's a winner.
Why are the Pelicans getting rid of Brandon Ingram?
Because
he's 27.
From what I understand, it's about a financial thing, and they're a loser franchise. To me, look,
I have more winner vibes right now than the Sixers.
No, they don't.
They do.
How?
That team's tough. They play good defense.
Were they even in the play? They were in the playoffs and got bounced early last year. They're never actually.
Willie Green's a winner.
I like Willie Green.
Jordan Hawkins
a winner.
Jordan Hawkins is my boy.
Okay, Zion Williamson is not a number one. All right. So to me, the Brandon Ingram thing reminds me a little bit of Kelly Oubre, and here's why. Both long, both I think very talented. Both have been in bad situations. Both are guys that
he's done much more than Oubre did.
No, he has. I agree. But I'm saying we saw Oubre came here and you put him around Joel and you put him with Maxey and you put him with Nick Nurse and you put him in a winning franchise and he played better. I think Ingram has the highest, in some ways, the highest ceiling of all these guys because of his age. I agree his floor is also young, But if they trade for Brandon Ingram, I'm not going to get on here and be like, wow, they struck out on everybody, and that's who they went with.
You go into next season with Maxey Embiid and Brandon Ingram. That looks pretty good.
Yes, I don't get why everyone is being so negative about Ingram.
Brandon Ingram is your third. I mean, he's the second star right now, third-ish star, him and CJ. But the reason I'm in between a little bit is because he hasn't played with a dominant guy like Embiid, but he's played with someone who absorbs attention and space like Embiid, like Zion does.
Yeah, but again, Zion didn't even figure that out until like the last 2 months of the year.
Embiid and Zion, I'm not saying Embiid is on the same kind of injury history as Zion, but they're both in and out of the lineup. Dude.
Yeah, but Embiid is also way better than Zion.
For sure.
But like you mock the whole, it was 4 years ago he shot all those threes. Yeah. But it is proof that he can do it. Like it is. So if he comes here and the Sixers emphasis, yes, it is. For 2 straight years to shoot over 6 a game, that's not nothing.
But he's gone down every year and doing.
Yes, but I don't know what's happening in New Orleans. Maybe they don't want him to shoot him as much. Who knows, right? So
that seems like modern basketball.
Well, they're not a good team, so it's certainly possible. I think that if he came here, the Sixers said, we need you to be a catch and shoot guy. We need you to shoot threes. He would do it because he's done it in his career before.
He's not a catch and shoot guy. Yeah. He's an off the dribble guy.
I'm saying I think he'd shoot threes. We can parse like the.
Well, I'm just talking hoops.
No, I know you are. I know you're getting into the X's and O's, but I'm saying like the catch and shoot off the dribble.
Hoops shit.
Like I get. But
I was talking hoops.
You want to talk graphs?
Yeah.
I'm just talking straight pure hoops.
Well, but don't you think that's what Ingram is? Like Ingram is a bucket boy.
Sorta.
Yeah, I think
sorta. Listen. I would not be like furious if Brandon Ingram's a Sixer.
I think the fans would,
that.
and I
let you know that.
I know. Well, you're couching it because this is probably what's going to happen.
I would just rather wait out Durant.
I would not.
Which gives him a better chance to win a title next year and the following year, Durant or Ingram?
I mean, it's probably Durant.
Thank you.
But
way to think about that one for 5
But again,
seconds.
this is where we keep coming back to. Like, I don't care about.
You care more about the future rather than
I don't
right
care about the window for next year. Would I love if they won a title next year? Yes. Do I hope Embiid plays 3 more years at a high level? Yes. But Ingram would come here and pair with Maxey as a potential long-term fit.
Potential. See how good that is. But yeah, I mean,
Ingram
really
checks all the boxes.
He does not check all the boxes.
He does check all the boxes. He is the ideal body type for a wing in today's NBA. Again, he shoots threes. He can create his own shot.
Threes.
He's long. He attacks the basket. If you watch his YouTube from last year, it's unbelievable.
Is that the only time that you watched him?
Yeah, I didn't watch like a ton of full Pelicans.
I'm sure you did. Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
Listen, again, I'm just here to talk hoop.
I know you
and
are.
Like that's why I was begged to do this pod.
This is why I'm saying that as things start to slip away, like Ingram really might be the best option.
Are you talking about slip away on this podcast or the Sixers off season?
I guess both. Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that last statement. If everything, not everything slips away, but I don't think Brandon Ingram should be the priority. He shouldn't go over anybody.
Right.
If stuff does start to go away and Brandon Ingram ends up being the last option, that's
Would you rather Ingram or Mitchell?
Mitchell.
I think I'd go Mitchell too.
Yeah.
I
mean, Mitchell, for what it's worth, has done it in the playoffs.
Sure. It's just him and Maxey are so redundant in a way.
I'm fine with having that skill.
Yeah, but like we've seen it
having,
but like Lillard and McCollum didn't work. It's very
well. I don't know if that's completely true. I mean, they didn't win a title, but they were.
It really wasn't good until like when Aldridge was still Aldridge, they were fine. Yeah. When Aldridge was done, they just.
Well, Embiid can be Aldridge.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I hope so. I get the same sense you do.
Yeah.
Like I don't think the Sixers. If you put truth serum in Daryl Morey right now, I think he says, I don't think we're getting any of these guys.
Well, all right. So I think we had this conversation briefly, but I think it's becoming more relevant now. Does it matter to you if these guys want to come here? Like if Paul George is out there exploring all his options and he's like, well, I'd love to be in LA, but they're not giving me the 4th year. I'd love to go to Indianapolis, but we can't make a trade work. OKC, it's not going to work. So, all right, the Sixers will pay me. Or like LeBron, maybe, I think LeBron's going to stay with the Lakers. But
he was apparently, according to the morning show, he was eating. I was wondering where he was at the Four Seasons with the tampering. By the way,
meeting in broad daylight in one of the highest buildings in the city.
We're trusting Joe DeCamera's friend is like, trust me, bro, that's LeBron. It ended up being Elton Brand. Okay. So the backstory is for people who don't know.
Don't tell me it ended up being Elton Brand.
It was Elton Brand, yeah. So here's what happened. Here's the backstory: is that Joe DeCamera got a photo from his friend. His friend was at the Four Seasons last night. He 100%.
Well, it was definitely,
and I'm sure he'd be the only one to see LeBron.
It was also yesterday day. It wasn't.
It was yesterday during the day. By the way. Yeah. LeBron has not opted in or opted out yet.
He's
not a free agent, which is
like upon just looking at this photo, I want to ask like, who does he think LeBron in this photo?
It ended up being Elton Brand.
Yeah, it's so funny. I know you're talking.
But yeah, so DeCamera's friend texted him this photo because he was at the Four Seasons yesterday. He watched Josh Harris walk right past him, and then he's like, "Joe, LeBron's here."
Just like that,
and it's Elton Brand.
Well, I say it's so funny to think that like
that's almost insulting. Right?
First of all, LeBron flew to Philadelphia to meet with the Sixers.
Yeah, dude.
He like got on the elevator, went up to the top of the Four Seasons
in the middle of a hotel in Center City,
and
in a button-up, he like dressed up for the occasion.
Well, dude, the funniest part is he's like,
Joe DeCamera's friend being the only one in Philadelphia to see him that's the part that
he's describing it. And he's like, and Joe was like, was there buzz in the restaurant? And he's like, there was buzz. Everyone was whispering, "There's LeBron. There's LeBron. There's LeBron." It's Elton Brand. How could no one tell?
No chance.
Oh god,
that would make me very disappointed in Philadelphia as a city if everyone's like,
I know there's LeBron. Well, it's so funny.
GM of the Sixers.
Well, it's equally as funny as I was thinking about this. Like, funnier tampering issues: James Franklin screwing the Eagles, or Joe DeCamera's friend exposing tampering.
Can you imagine if there's tampering with LeBron and they asked to interview Joe?
Yeah. You're the
Adam Silver on the line with Joe being or whatever his friends.
They do it live on the air.
It is funny to picture LeBron meeting with the Sixers and getting really dressed up, like trying to impress them.
Well, what's so funny too is like now he does it, but 5 years ago he wouldn't. They sent his agent.
I don't even think it was his. It wasn't even Rich Paul. Yeah, it was the team.
Yes.
You know what the real takeaway from all this is? Josh Harris super involved. Everyone says he doesn't care. Here he is.
Clearly,
meeting with people.
Yeah,
exactly.
By the way, just meeting with Elton Brand, Morey, and Nurse. It's not like there was even a free agent to woo.
What I'm saying, like everyone says.
Well, by the way, I know you're doing a bit here, but
I'm not.
If you own a sports team, like I would just be there all the time.
Me too.
Like I would be like, "What are you guys thinking about?
Yeah.
Like what should we do here?"
I own the team that you're operating.
I'll go to Washington. We'll figure out what we're doing. We just figured out the draft.
It's just 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks and 2 week intervals of figuring out what's going on.
The hockey team, I'm not. Just whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Like, whatever you can do.
I'd be in the meetings like, you guys got to shoot more, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be like, get Brandon Ingram.
I was going to say, can you picture me sitting with Morey, Elton, Brandon, Nurse, explaining why they have to trade for Brandon Ingram?
Right.
I would love it.
Like, it's just the vibes.
He's a bucket boy.
Yeah. And just keep saying, I'm here to talk hoop.
yeah, exactly.
That's all I'm here to do.
Shoot guy.
So yeah, I just like.
Wait, hold on. So does it matter to you?
Oh, okay.
If
this is
guys,
what we're going back.
Yeah.
To, yes.
Does it matter to you if the Sixers are someone's second or third option? But they'll come. But like you weren't there first.
Does not matter to me.
It matters.
Because
it matters to me.
I know it matters to you. I hear that. Here's why it doesn't matter to me. Because when you get around this fan base,
oh my God,
and you start winning back, I think you fall in love. There's been a lot of players that I'm sure are like, besides Danny Green. Danny Green clearly hates Philadelphia.
Yeah,
like with
he hides that well.
A passion.
Yeah, DG doesn't hate Philadelphia.
He does. Yeah, he does.
You didn't hear him on the Ricky. I know he was complimentary on Clap Your Hands, but
right. Yeah, on the Ricky he was like, no one wants to play. No one wants to play there. It's like, thanks, man.
That to me before too.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy.
In a nice way.
So
great city, but nobody wants to play there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's funny because like a lot of people want to play for the Eagles, a lot of people want to play for the Phillies. Mm-hmm. It's just like Philadelphia.
Well, you think it's Joel?
Well, I think Joel's a part of it. I think the fans. I don't think NBA players like being criticized.
Well, also,
the baggage is part.
I also think if you're an NBA player and you're coming to Philly, you have to feel like you're going to win a title. Like you're not coming here for the lifestyle. I love Philly, but like you can go to Miami, LA, New York. Like there are other better options, right?
Really?
Yeah. Although I think Philly is better than New York for what it's worth. I think
100%.
New York is very overrated.
Too big.
But it's probably because we don't have enough money to truly enjoy New York. I mean, if you had $25 million a year in New York,
I just don't like. It's too many people. I don't like people.
Yeah, but the issue with being a star in Philly is, and I'm sure this is something you've gone through.
As a star in Philly?
Exactly, yeah. Like, it is small enough where when you can't just walk around.
You can't just go to the Four Seasons as LeBron James
yeah, exactly.
and not get noticed.
LeBron was at the Four Seasons like, wow, it's so nice to live in anonymity.
No one knows who I am here.
Yeah.
Oh
one grainy photo got out.
Oh, dude. They broke it down for like 45 minutes.
I know. It was funny.
It's like, oh, my God.
Well, someone messaged me. It was funny saying, that Joe DeCamera went on the air being like, LeBron is in Philly meeting with the Sixers, and the next call we got was about Vic Fangio.
I know, dude. I know. Only in this city. Only in this city.
Like, LeBron is here. They get signing.
It was like great.
Tell me
about
is Vic going to run a 3-4? Yeah, exactly.
I get it. I get the players not wanting to be here thing. It's actually what makes me come back to. I wish if I could have my ideal setup or what I would like the most. I want players that are drafted here.
Okay, but I feel like that ties into what I'm saying.
But I also think that if you come here, you win, you'll be beloved, and
yeah, but
and playing in front of. I guess it depends if you want to be in front of fans that care.
Yeah, so I agree that coming to Philly is definitely coming to a real, like, you get like a real sports town vibe of that. But I've always thought, like, if you're making $40 million a year, do you really want the criticism? Like, you can go play and have everyone be nice to you and have a ton of money. Like, I don't know. If you're Paul George, you stay in LA, you're not really going to be criticized. You're from there. Yeah, you don't get the 4th year, which sucks, but your next 3 years of life will probably be at a higher quality than if you came and signed with the Sixers. Like, I don't know. That's why I agree with, like, the drafting here thing I think matters. Like, I think you need to bring, like, Maxey, like, I think loves
being a Sixer.
Yeah.
And
that matters.
I think Embiid does love being a Sixer. I
think he does too.
I think he goes through periods where he's like, man, this is tough. But
yeah,
again, I think Philadelphia is an acquired taste.
I agree with that.
And I think that,
especially as an athlete,
I think you come here with a lot of apprehension, and then I think you get it once you're kind of ingrained in it or ingratiated.
But I do think,
I understand it from a star standpoint. If you can just make $40 million, $50 million, and just stay in a place where there's no expectations, I probably
play for the Jaguars, no state income tax, like.
Well, that Trevor Lawrence thing.
I know.
I would never pay him, but I don't. They had to pay him. I guess.
Yeah, of course. They have nobody there, but he's probably got a good life now.
Doug on the hot seat this year,
maybe. But yeah, so I would like the star to want to come here, and it just feels like Paul George.
He doesn't. Yeah.
I don't think he wants to come here.
I think Donovan Mitchell would like to come here. I do.
I agree with that. I mean, he already plays in a. Yeah. Like he's not leaving LA. Yeah, exactly.
He's leaving. He went from Utah.
Yeah, Utah to Cleveland to Philly.
Cleveland.
The bar is
slowly moving up there. Yeah,
and plus he's from New York.
Yeah,
so like he gets the big city thing.
And I think if he wanted to go to the Knicks, he would have went to the Knicks. He would have made that happen.
Yeah, maybe. And I think Mikal Bridges would like to play here.
I agree.
So I think he'd be.
Nets are holding him hostage.
Very, very welcome.
Yeah. That does suck to be Mikal, and like the Knicks are right there with all your friends. The Sixers are right here with like your mom. Like,
yeah, and he's got
stuck
in between
irrelevant franchise with the Nets.
And Josh Hart's just trolling him on Instagram, like saying "blink twice if you need us to come get you," which is amazing.
Yeah, and he's like behind closed doors. He's like, "I don't have to come get me."
Yeah.
You know they all hang out and just make fun of the Nets.
100%. He's getting roasted.
You know that group. Well, I think he's making fun of the Nets too.
Probably.
Yeah, I think like the group chat is probably. Like Nets fans would not want to read that.
No. Well, first off, they'd have to find the Nets fans.
I was going to say
your question, Jack, is interesting. It doesn't matter if they want to come here because when I think
of my question,
it was
okay.
I think it's interesting because like that makes me think of like the Kawhi situation of where he didn't want to go to Toronto, he didn't not want to go to Toronto, but that's not a place that he picks. It's not a place that
he did leave.
But he went to championship.
No, he did.
He goes, it works, and he wins a championship. Then everyone gets to go their separate ways.
But I think to that point, I think it's even more proof that like he went there, he won a title, and he still left.
Right.
Like,
he didn't want to go. That's what I'm saying. Where it can work. It didn't matter that he didn't want to go.
Right. But if the Warriors don't get completely decimated with injuries and his shot doesn't bounce in against the Sixers, then the Raptors would have traded a ton for a guy.
There's a whole lot of ifs that go into.
No, I get that. But the point I'm making is that's an example of somebody that did not want to go there and left. Like if you're making a trade. We can talk about this part.
But if you get a championship, my point is, if you get a championship out of that player coming here for 1 year, 2 years, everyone can kind of go their separate ways.
But they have to win a title, is my point. The chances of that happening are slim.
And I remember
take the risk that the Raptors took.
I remember during that time, it was like, would you trade Ben for Kawhi?
Yeah,
and the Sixers ultimately decided not to.
Maybe a mistake.
Probably a big.
I mean, the Raptors did something that every GM was afraid to do. Like, we're gonna literally go all in for knowingly 1 year. Like, Kawhi's not gonna resign here. We're gonna go in for this year, and they made it happen.
Right, but I just think that that's not a smart way to make decisions. I understand that it worked out, but it was an extremely risky decision. Now, look, it worked out, and like props to them for doing it.
Are you not waiting?
But out of 10 times, like I think 9.5, it doesn't work out, and it looks like a bad trade.
We're sitting here wanting Daryl Morey to swing for the fences, make a big move. This is the offseason.
Yeah.
So if there was a time in his Sixers tenure to do it, like this might be the opportunity.
See, but I view it differently. Where like the way it sounds like you're describing it is like they have to do something right now because the window is closing. Like I don't view it that way. I view it as they have a ton of resources, so they can go get someone, and I would go get somebody. But like, I'm not making a panic move.
That doesn't have to be a panic move. But
well,
I disagree about where the window is, though. I think the window
I think
is closing sooner than you think.
No, I think the window is basically closed. Like, I mean, I think Embiid is cooked. Like, it's unfortunate, but I think that he's on his last legs.
Well, I'm thinking about your thing and about players wanting to be here and the Danny Green quotes. And then on top of that, the Doc Rivers quotes from yesterday.
Yeah.
Where he talks about how...
I agree with him.
Sure.
I agree with that.
He is such an excuse guy. It's unbelievable. I mean, he did the whole, he outed Lillard for being, in bad shape heading into the year.
So I agree.
Told JJ you've had your best numbers ever with me.
He's just he's a pass the buck guy.
So he is a pass the buck guy, and it is excuses. But, they're true.
Well...
I get your point that, it's not a good look for him publicly to constantly deflect blame and to say things. But I think it's hard to play in Philly.
Of course, started playing.
I think it to his point, those playoff games. I mean, I didn't go to any this year, but the prior year when I was there, when they're losing in these playoff games, it is tense in that building. It is ugly. It is not a fun place to be a Sixer.
Quickly.
Yeah, exactly. So, and yeah, you're at all the games, while I understand I understand that it's lame to say and that they do have a good home record and all those things, and the good PR answer would be Philly's the best. If you play hard, they'll love you forever. But it is.
You hate that, by the way.
Well, I just don't think it's true. I think you have to win in Philly to be loved. I don't think he's just playing hard.
Well, there's been players who played hard that didn't win championships that are beloved.
Like who?
Dawkins.
Dawkins went to 4 NFC championship games in a Super Bowl.
We're talking about
I'm
not
saying
winning at all.
Right, Reese Hoskins. I can't remember if we had this on or off air, but all this Reese love that he got last week. If they don't have that playoff run, he doesn't get that love.
Of course not.
So he would have played just as hard. He would have been here just as long. So I just think the myth is that if you come here and you play hard, you'll be loved. That's not true. If Paul George comes here and they get knocked out in the first round and he plays as hard as he can the whole time, he's going to get ripped to shreds all summer. He's going to be called a bust. It's going to be why did you sign this guy? Playoff Paul, all those things, right? So it's just...
McP.
So I think if you're an NBA player, and you come here, you have to feel really confident you're going to win. And I wonder how players feel about attaching their winning to Joel.
Yeah, and I don't think players view this as I'm going to show up and we're going to win a championship.
Exactly, right. That's why I don't think it's anyone's top choice.
I feel like Paul George probably thinks the Clippers have a better chance to win a title, even with Kawhi
for sure
being super fickle.
100%.
So I think that is definitely.
I think what he thinks. I don't know if they do.
I think the two biggest questions I guess players would have about here is Joel and the fans. What is Joel's window? What's his? I wonder how Joel's viewed around the league. Is he viewed at? I think
he's a fun guy that people like to be around.
I think that's why he has to go. Listen, I've done the whole Olympics thing, but that's why he has to go to the Olympics and play because he needs to hopefully use that as a recruiting.
Now the tough thing is, I didn't realize the Olympics were so late.
Yeah. When are they? August?
No, they're late July. All these decisions will be made.
Yeah.
So actually, can I give you my basketball adjacent point right now?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
we covered a lot in this podcast. Just let you know, we thought we had nothing to talk about.
You put mics in front of us.
Listen, you put mics in front of us. We talk hoops.
If the viewers can see Jack's notes down there. I mean, we've got 7-8 bullet points.
I know. All right, so here's
we didn't get to our Mount Rushmore yet.
Here's my.
When are we taking calls?
215. Basketball adjacent point. It is absurd that they have not released the Olympic jerseys to the public yet. So it's a basketball jersey. So it's meant to be worn during the summer. As much as I love to wear basketball jerseys over hoodies,
when was the last time you did that?
Every time I go to a Sixers game.
You are 37 years old.
Whatever. I don't think I think that's an appropriate look for an old.
For the only time is when you're attending the sporting event. Any other time,
I don't think that's true. I think a basketball jersey over a shirt is a bad look, but over a hoodie.
I'm just saying. I don't think you can wear a basketball jersey over the age of 25.
I don't think that's true.
Just to a party or to a game or just
a basketball jersey or any jersey.
I just don't know if you can pull that off.
But are you saying a basketball?
I'm saying basketball. I think baseball jerseys are different.
Okay. Yeah. Just
here we go.
Once again, Jack has come
football
down on the positive side of the
right?
Yeah,
I'm biased.
Football jerseys are
fine.
I agree.
Football jerseys are fine. I just think you can't pull up a basketball jersey. They're almost 40.
You want to see a picture of me doing this?
I guess you are a young 37.
Wait, to me,
I'm also 36. I'm not 37.
You are. You are 38.
To me, the venue matters.
I don't know how.
Where are you wearing?
Maybe wearing into a basketball game.
I wore a basketball jersey under a hoodie for our Clap Your Hands event we did in Center City.
Yeah, you looked all right.
Yeah, that's exactly. I think it looks good.
Fine.
Yeah,
fine.
But so
over 40. You have 3 years, pal.
I really think it's like. So, but here's the other thing. I look way younger than I am.
You do.
So, like, I agree that if I. So
you're 40 going on 25.
All right, but I think like if you look older, it's harder to pull off. Would you agree with that?
If you look older,
yeah. If you like look like you're 50, then you can't do it. But I think like when I'm 50, I'm probably still gonna look like I'm like 42.
Yeah.
Yeah. If not,
why 42? Why not 40?
Well, I was gonna say 40, but then I thought maybe a little older than 40.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I'm really a 50-year-old trapped in a 30-year-old.
Yeah, I think we look the same age. Would you agree with that?
Similar.
Would you agree?
I agree.
Yeah. But the basketball jersey thing, to get back to the amount of times I've checked Nike's website to see if they're on there, it's absurd. Like, they're meant to be worn in the summer. Now, granted, I said I like them under a hoodie.
Yeah.
But, maybe like, walking the dog, go to the dog park,
throw on the nice
put on the USA jersey,
Yep.
July 4th,
Yep.
right? So, anyway.
You've always been a big USA guy.
I have been.
Yeah.
I have been, especially when soccer.
Yeah.
Get a nice soccer kid.
Yeah.
But I just think it's ridiculous they haven't come out yet.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I completely derailed. I forget where I was even going.
We're talking about going to the Olympics.
Right. Oh, so that's why it's go to the Olympics. Because, like, I think the two things that players are apprehensive about at Philly is Joel and how he is, and then the fans.
Yeah.
Question: What is a tougher sell? What's got a tougher connotation around the league? Joel or the fans coming to Philadelphia?
It seems like the fans, given the way Doc talked about him, given the way Danny Green's talked about him.
I also really think, and again, I mean, you lived in the city for a year, big city guy.
Yeah.
You currently live in the city. I moved back into the city. Like, I love Philly, but I really think as a ultra mega millionaire athlete, it's just not an appealing place to live. Like, you probably are going to live in Jersey, where the taxes are dumb high. Like, the practice facility is really nice, but it's like in Camden. And then you come into the city, but
you're
Center
not,
City Philly is nice and I enjoy it, but as a making $40 million a year,
they're not going to Sips.
Exactly. Like, where are you going? Like, Del
Joel was
Frisco's?
frequently
Joel, but he's drafted here.
But it's also okay, for viable options. Now go into reality of some of these players and the options that they have.
Right.
Yes, Paul George is, I could stay in LA. But for someone like Donovan Mitchell, the city that's a selling point.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But
there are a lot of players that are like that.
Would you rather sign with the Magic or the Sixers?
Oh, here.
The Sixers?
Dude, but the Magic is who wants to play?
They're a Mickey Mouse franchise,
and Orlando
by
is
definition.
Orlando's not any
no, but it's
not
warm
Miami.
there. It's warm there. Like, there's no state income tax.
You love the state income.
It matters when you're making
Who was the last player the Magic got?
Nobody. I mean, T-Mac.
They almost got Duncan.
Yeah, T-Mac, Grant Hill.
But Duncan's a weird case. But to your point, it never even came out where Doc Rivers lived when he was here. I think he just lived in a hotel.
Main line or something. Yeah.
JJ was staying in Brooklyn.
JJ lived in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So did Will.
Right. I don't think the city is a selling point. I don't.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sure the moments where you are having an awesome game in Philly and people are going wild is awesome.
Yeah.
That is probably an adrenaline rush you're not getting other.
Listen,
places.
not everyone's built like Bryce. You know what I mean? It's why he's the best. He
chose us.
It's why he's on the Mount Rushmore.
I've actually still never seen anything like it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, he's the greatest.
Beautiful.
It is beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Might be the name of the pod.
It's beautiful.
I wish we could go back and again build this thing to the draft.
Yeah.
Again, if Ben and Mark, it's whatever.
That's kind of why I don't want him to trade the pick.
Yeah, me too.
I would like to take somebody there.
I know. I wish we'll get into the draft.
We'll get into the
big draft guy.
Yeah. I used to love the NBA draft.
Me too.
When the Sixers were
It's a 2-day event now.
When the Sixers,
I like that.
So stupid.
No, I actually really like that.
No, I hate that.
Dude, if you watch,
it's not long enough to
what?
be a 2-day event.
Because
dude.
all right,
what?
First of all,
name
Okay.
the second round of the NBA draft's unwatchable.
I
Yeah,
agree
let's
with you.
get
And you
it
want to
done.
know why? Because by the time it's 9:30 at night and they're making these picks, no one cares. Then the draft ends. You have the whole next day of here's who's still available. It'll feel like a bigger deal.
Now I kind of like waking up the next day and it's.
Nah.
I've seen the first round. Now tell me who got distributed in the second round and we can move on.
So I heard Jack say on air that he's an in-season tournament guy, and I know I changed his mind on that. Once the draft is over, you guys will agree it's better 2 nights.
I came around to the in-season tournament. It was fun to game along.
Dude, I saw someone on the street yesterday, and
that's what changed his mind. The Pacers
They cared about
Pacers
yeah.
run is what changed his mind.
I saw someone walking in the street yesterday, in-season tournament shirt.
Wow.
I almost said something.
And they were like, there he is, our fearless leader, Eliot.
Yeah.
There he is, the one person that would speak the truth.
The one we want leading the
Yes, the leader of men.
Yeah.
So should we just save Mount Rushmore for next week? I mean,
30 minutes in.
I don't know if they were riding the wave of.
There's so much to get into. I just the city is definitely not a selling point for NBA players.
That's the title.
Maybe. Yeah.
Nobody wants to play in Philly.
Nobody
and
wants
we get
to be
it.
here. We get it. But Embiid, again, if you don't, but I feel like Maxey should be more of a selling point.
I think the selling points for the Sixers are obviously besides the money, Maxey and Nick Nurse.
Well,
So what cities are above? What cities are above Philly as selling point? Obviously, LA.
I think LA. I think Miami.
but like, who's Miami gotten?
Well, they got LeBron,
Yeah.
Chris Bosh.
Right, but recently,
Off of relationship.
Well, they got Jimmy.
sure.
Okay, I mean that's
I know.
pretty big stars.
I know.
If you
Just
want to
saying.
retract your point,
Well,
like
but like,
and every star wants to go there. Dame wanted,
but
to
they
go
don't
there.
get them.
Well, that wasn't Dame's decision. I think
It's-
Dame. You think Dame
the
picked
city is a selling
Milwaukee?
point, but I think Pat Riley is just as much of a,
Would you rather-
a hurdle to get over as.
Would you rather play in Milwaukee or Philadelphia?
Philly.
Have you seen Milwaukee?
Yeah, I'm not a big Milwaukee guy. I would probably, but again, I think like there's probably no pressure there.
But that's my point. Like Philly falls like fourth or fifth to me
Listen, if you don't
in
want,
the league,
for city wise.
yeah. And again, remove like how we feel about the city.
That's hard for me to do.
I know. And again, I
I
love.
feel like it's to me like it's above like Chicago. Like I'd rather live in Philly than Chicago.
East Coast.
I don't know. The Bulls are probably a more historic franchise.
Well, that's
it's
for
close.
one
Nothing-
era.
That means
Yeah.
nothing to these players.
I agree with that. Although Chicago's a pretty. Dope
I just
city.
wish a player wanted the pressure. If you don't want the pressure, then
I think Maxey does.
I actually come around to you. But it took me 40 minutes. I want
what?
someone who wants the pressure.
That's what I'm saying. Like
for
Paul,
sure.
Paul George runs from the grind.
you know how frustrating it's gonna
Does
be
run from
if they sign somebody and like 4 months in, it's like, he's not happy.
Do you think Harden likes playing in Philadelphia? Like for Philadelphia, not like take out the Morey thing,
Right. I actually got the vibe he did. Like,
I think he
I
liked
think he
it.
enjoyed his time in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
before that.
Yeah, which is interesting because he
He had a real shot to win here, and he recognized.
I think he
it.
would have
think
stayed if they
enjoyed
would have
that.
paid
He
him,
took-
obviously. But
well, he said that.
yeah.
That's why he
Well,
took the deal.
Daryl lied.
Yeah, thank God.
Thank
I wonder if Morey is a turnoff for players too. But I don't. We talked about it last podcast. I just would be surprised. Like I think they take the money. I think the bigger deterrence would be Embiid and the fans before Morey.
I think
I think players know what they're getting into with Daryl Morey. You either like are willing to do a deal with Daryl Morey, or already like I'm staying away from.
Well, I also think the instance where Morey matters is like so specific that it's not like a big picture.
Well, just don't let yourself get played anymore. Like, don't go in. Like, I'm not
It's
doing
good life
handshake.
advice.
Yeah, not
Don't
doing
get played.
handshake.
Yeah,
don't
don't
get
get
played.
played.
Don't get played.
I'm not doing that.
Do you have a fear? And this is we're pretty good on the Sixers conversation.
Yeah.
This is just a thought on.
So we're not doing Mount Rushmore.
We'll save that.
Okay.
We'll save that. We got so much to get into. But the Celtics win it. Do you have a fear that this is going to now open up? Like they break through, and now we go on this like 4 out of 5 years with the Celtics winning titles.
Yeah. I mean,
Because,
I think,
like, I
I
don't
think
think-
they're loaded. Like they have two
They've
of the
literally
top
stayed
10
in
guys
Eastern
in the league,
Conference
probably.
Finals and finals
Yeah, they're
every
always
year.
a Final Four team. Like, yeah,
That's the fear, right? Like I don't because they've come up small in years past, but now that once a team gets a taste of the first one, I feel like that just opens up Pandora's box.
now it is hard to repeat. for what
Sure,
it's
and
worth.
Horford probably retires when they win. Just to,
yeah, but they got.
But it's not like a team who can't break through the second round and then won a title. Like they're a team like even
Why'd you
their
pick the second round?
because their floor has already been Eastern Conference Finals and Finals. Like even if
I
even
agree.
if they don't repeat,
100%,
they
yeah.
still go back to they're in contention every season.
Now here's a question. So when the Sixers did the process the first time, obviously there was a lot of reasoning for it. The roster didn't have any true stars, all those things. But part of it was like LeBron was in the East, and they were not going to beat LeBron. Is there any part of you with the Celtics where you're like they're not going to beat the Celtics?
just duck the Celtics.
Yeah.
The
Well, I'm
issue-
saying like make a decision based off the fact that like the East has the Celtics in it.
Yeah, I might, but I just know they won't. So it's
Yeah.
like hard to argue. I guess like after this, it's like okay, who's the next best team in the East that could challenge them? You hope it's the Sixers.
It's probably Milwaukee.
It's Milwaukee if they can ever get it right, but they've been weird the last
Yeah.
few years.
And
Like, ever since
Giannis
they won
is
the
hurt quite a bit.
right, and I don't know what the future of that team is.
The Knicks?
Like, Chris Middleton can't stay on the
Right.
floor much.
Full season of Doc is just going to be
What about your team?
entertaining next year.
The Pacers,
Yeah.
the Pacers might be the second best.
Yeah, they
I mean
might be.
it's Pacers, Knicks,
You
Sixers.
think the Knicks take a step up, or
I
what do you
think the
do
Knicks
next year?
are where I think they've reached their ceiling of who they are.
why
especially-
don't you tweet that at all the Knicks fans?
Yeah, I know.
that'll go with
Oh,
it.
I mean,
I think them getting rid of if they get rid of Julius Randle, if they trade Julius Randle, or
That's a
something.
win.
Yeah, it's a win.
That's a win.
and they might lose OG.
Yeah,
that it
probably
really
not. I'd be
matters.
surprised.
I think he'll resign.
Isaiah Hartenstein too.
Yeah.
Might get a bag.
25 million, 20 million a year.
Now, if
By the
Isaiah
way-
Hartenstein gets 25 million a year,
I hate to break this to you, but Keith Pompey, I believe it was, of the Philadelphia Inquirer, said he thinks Oubre is going to get $6 to $8 million a year.
Oh, interesting.
we also thought Isaiah Hartenstein was around like 10 million a year. He's just demanding 20-25.
Yeah, well, he's pretty good though.
Yeah. We'll see.
Oubre is too.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Either way, yeah, the Celtics name's not great.
I haven't come off the hell yet.
Yeah.
Well,
Malik Monk
it's coming.
might get 25 million.
That's
He
absurd.
deserves it.
That's not
What?
absurd.
That's not absurd at all.
Dude, he's a fuck
$25 million a year?
for a like
And
the
he's
best
young?
6 man in basketball. Yeah.
He's young. Yeah, it's not absurd.
Yeah, a young. Let me look him up.
He's like 26.
I feel like he's
25.
been in the league for.
He was in
Same
Fultz.
age as
Wasn't he in
De'Aaron
this-
Fox.
he was in
Him and
Fultz's
De'Aaron
draft.
Fox were
Wasn't he in the
teammates.
same draft as Ben, or am I just wrong?
No, he's in
Yeah.
Fultz's draft.
Lonzo's draft.
All right, let me
It was Fultz's.
Yeah, sorry.
Tatum.
Tatum, yeah.
let me look this guy.
It is Tatum's draft.
It is Tatum. It is definitely
It is
Tatum's still 19.
Is Tatum a top 10 player?
No.
10?
I'm so
absurd.
anti-Tatum.
That's absurd.
You know what has been
I'm actually
annoying
anti
me?
most of the Celtics. Their only good player is Derek White.
He did have like a 30.
I'm just kidding. He's definitely top 10.
Is he top 5?
No.
Especially when he wins the title.
Well,
I
here's
don't
a-
know how you keep him out of the top
Right,
five.
like, so
Because
here's-
he's asked to do absolutely.
So
nothing.
this is
I mean,
what I
he, did
hate.
that, he benefits from that, but like that's I go back and forth between holding that against him because like
Well, I think if you win, you don't hold him against him. If you
can't
lose,
hold-
and he doesn't.
They're
Yeah.
about to sweep. They're about to go 16-1 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
How can you hold that against
I think if there was a draft of every player in the NBA, Tatum is much closer to the 5th pick than he is the 10th pick.
We'll see. 2-5. But
Okay.
but
So let me look at these.
just guys talking hoops?
Yeah,
Just
exactly. Yeah.
guys talking
I think besides Tatum, he doesn't want to talk about that. Malik Monk, 15 points, and he
off the
averaged
bench.
35% from 3,
Shoots a lot.
6.5. I wouldn't call that a ton.
You told me Brandon freaking Ingram
Yeah,
shoots
it's a-
threes all the time.
Yeah, it's a good number, but I mean, if you're Malik Monk, like your whole thing has to be shooting.
6.5 attempts off the bench
The whole
a
thing does
game.
not have to be shooting.
I find it. You're right. You're right. In 26 minutes, that's a lot.
My God.
You're right. You're right.
Just talking hoops.
Yeah.
You watch
Other than Tatum,
Well, I just
I hate the
Derek
whole
White's-
Tatum's getting carried thing.
Derek-
Tatum is the best player on that team. Like full stop.
okay, but it doesn't mean that.
So he's the best player on the title
but he
win.
overall,
also-
but Jaylen Brown is playing the best.
I agree.
But they have so much around them, and that's what gets held up.
They have good players around him for sure, but let's not act like they're like the Miami Heat of like
They're
the
a
big
juggernaut
three.
around him.
They have good players around him, but they have 2 stars.
Yes,
Okay.
a true argument.
And 2 to 3 guys who are like superstar role players, like superstars.
Right,
in their
but-
role.
Derek White is their best player.
If you took Tatum off of that roster, what are they probably?
They're still a top
the
3 seed.
set- no, they're not.
Yes, they are.
A top 3 seed?
In the East,
Yes.
with Jalen Brown.
I've never seen James. I'm sorry. I've never seen Jack this outraged.
You're
by a
getting the
point.
real hoops
Well,
talk
be-
out of Jack
because
today.
of course they are.
They are.
It's
top
freaking
three.
yes.
You take Jason Tatum off the Celtics. Are they better than the Magic currently constructed?
Yeah, probably.
Are they better than the Cavs currently constructed?
I think that's right where they're around.
I think they're better
No
than
shot.
the Cavs.
Here's the question.
Well, the Sixers are better. The Bucks are probably better.
Here's the question. Here's my question for you.
Okay.
You have Tatum on this Sixers team. You take him off, or whatever.
Take Embiid off and put Tatum on.
Yeah. What's their record? Are they the same as the Sixers?
Yeah.
Are they still a top 3 seed if you put Tatum on, take Embiid off?
Yes.
Disagree. It's why Embiid's better.
Embiid is a better player. I agree. But Tatum is, we're not talking about the difference between like Embiid and like
Dude,
Hartenstein.
he's Paul Pierce.
Tatum's had a better career than Embiid.
Of course he has, because
Okay.
the team's better.
But part of the reason his team is better is because he is a great player.
Right, but there's also been games where he's come up so small, and
But
he
there's
has,
also been games where he's come up huge.
of course,
Yeah.
it's part of being on a team.
I agree, but I'm saying like I think Tatum's being discussed now like he's like some role player. Like Tatum is the main reason they're going to win the title.
But if you
him or Jaylen Brown,
If you take Tatum's, not just his talent, but his production, bring it to the Sixers too. He comes up just as small in just as many instances. The Sixers don't get better.
but like Tatum
Like,
also,
the Celtics are able to overcome when he comes up small.
But-
Last year he went absent for 3 quarters. All he had to do was turn it on for the 4th.
but he did it. That's the point. Like people actually comes up small all the time. Against the Sixers, he carried them to the win in Game 6. I know he wasn't great the first 3 quarters, but when it mattered, he was huge. And then what did he drop in Game 7? Like 50.
But Embiid does that, and the Sixers don't win.
Embiid
series.
doesn't do that.
But Embiid doesn't. Embiid just had 40 points
In
50
Game
points,
3 of the first round,
And
not
Ta-
Game
when-
7 of the second round.
True, but it's one game in the series.
But what I'm saying,
Do you think if you take Tatum off the Celtics, you put Embiid on there, are they in the same spot?
it's a good question. Probably.
you think about look at what Porzingis is doing, and imagine if Embiid is on the Celtics.
But like again, Embiid is kind of a myth. Like I agree, Embiid's an awesome best player in the NBA when he's healthy. But like, am I getting healthy Embiid for Boston? Like, I don't know. And Embiid, for what it's worth, has come up really small. Like he came up small against the Knicks in Game 5.
Sure, and Tatum has come up small too.
He has, but
he has
Tatum
a
also
ton
has,
around him.
But Tatum also has more moments where he's come up big.
Sure, because he's given the opportunity to do
I
it.
agree. I think his moments.
I agree
when he comes
with
up
that.
Small it doesn't get amplified as much because he gets saved more and there's more opportunities to overcome.
I agree with that. But if you guys had to have one player for Game 7, who would you pick?
Probably Tatum.
Okay, that's the point I'm making. So this idea that like he's some role player and it doesn't matter how he plays, I don't think that's true. Like they don't. There's 16. That's how people talk about him. Like it doesn't matter how you play. There's 16-1 in the playoffs.
And
they were the 60
played,
plus wins.
By the way, they've played absolute scrub.
They have, but they've dominated.
And
them
they have not dominated them at
they're
all.
Going to go 16-1 or whatever.
Did you watch the games?
Of course not.
I mean, playoff games are playoff games.
Yeah, I mean, like,
sure, but those games
you're
are
not going to tell me 16-1.
16-1 is a dominant.
Every single one of those Pacers games was a coin flip. It was.
I agree, but they won them.
I know they won the game.
Yeah.
The Celtics team, frauds.
10 years from now, everyone's going to remember 16-1. No one's.
I was going to say, we talk about the Lakers team.
I will.
That Lakers team.
Remind them, please.
Yeah, the Lakers team that Iverson beat in that one game. They talk about one of the best teams of all time.
I know.
And they went,
And those games were close after that, which we should talk about as well.
I agree.
Either way, go Celtics, because the last time the Celtics won the title, the Phils won the title.
It always comes back.
Always comes back.
So you would trade a Celtics title for a Phillies World Series?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. They could win 5 straight. Relax. All right, we'll be back next week with the Mount Rushmore and maybe eventually our perfect off seasons.
Yeah.
Either way, for Eliot Shorr,
perfect off.
Eliot Shorr-Parks,
Let's talk hoops, man.
James Jackson, and Jack Fritz. This has been another edition of Clap Your Hands, all presented by Coors Light. Always presented by Coors Light. We'll talk to you next week.